Today's a typical chore day. There was snow that fell overnight. It only dropped a few inches, but more is expected over the next few days. And so I need to clear the path leading from the front door out to the drive area. I don't use a snowblower because this is the only area that I shovel, and it wouldn't work in this area right here anyhow because this is a pallet walkway and underneath it is rocks. Once this is done, then I'm going to need to bring in firewood and replenish the wood storage bin, which has been depleted over the last few weeks due to a cold snap that brought negative temperatures with it. Once I've replenished the wood storage bin, then I need to bring in tinder. After the tinder box has been filled, then I need to bring in kindling. And that's a typical chore day for me. But there's a lot more that I do in my days too. Dishes by hand, laundry by hand, sweeping and maintaining the cabin. Some of these are chores that everybody would have to do. But nonetheless, after a full day's worth of work, I'm ready for a good night's sleep.
Can I do this every day when I get older? Aging requires one to adapt. What will you do when you get older and can't lift those heavy water containers? I think you should plan for a less stressful future. Have you thought about how you will be able to manage the daily chores? How long do you think you'll be able to continue this lifestyle? What if you get injured or badly sick? Who is going to help or sit on your side? Will you stay in your cabin as you get older or move closer to a town? Is that the life your family wants for you?
Psychic readings. Hello? I'm awake. What can I do for you? I'm hoping that you can tell me about my future. You would like your future told? $20, please. $20? The sign said free. I no care what the sign say. For you, $20. I make exception. How's that for inflation? And it's even my dream. What do you want to know about your future? I want to know if I'll always be alone. You want to know if you'll be alone? Let me see what the future holds for you. I will consult my crystal ball. It's so small, I would think it was a marble. What do you expect? It's shrinkflation. Shrinkflation, I tell you. Everything is smaller these days. You will live alone. Except for cats. Lots and lots of cats. In a drafty old cabin which you have renovated all by yourself. And you will spend every waking day and every night sleeping and eating and breathing alone. Except for the cats. Lots. Seriously?
Lots of
That's
cats.
it?
The vision is gone. You want to know more? You pay more.
Fine.
No. Where were we? Oh, yes. I do see there will be someone in your future.
Is it Ryan Reynolds? Are you serious? Ryan Reynolds? No, you're more likely to end up with Mr. Miyagi than you
Mr.
are Ryan
Miyagi.
Reynolds. Seriously?
I do see somebody in your future. Yes. Somebody who has been here many times before. But he walks on all fours. Very strange. Very strange.
while the first part of this video was in jest, it is because I do get a lot of comments about, do I ever get lonely? What will I do when I get older? How will I be able to maintain this lifestyle? Will I ever move out of my cabin and move closer to hospitals or conveniences? The short answer of that is, I don't know. I don't know if I'll always be alone. I don't know if I'll always live in my cabin or what I'll do when I get older. Do I ever get lonely though? No, I don't. And that's thanks to you guys, because you guys keep me company. When I'm talking to the camera, i.e. my phone, I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation, albeit sometimes one-sided, but I'm having a conversation with you. And when I do the live streams, you guys are there to keep me company. I talk to my children and my mom, and that keeps me company. And I have Kenai, who just laid down in the back. So do I get lonely? No. But to answer the rest of your questions, only time will tell. Nobody actually knows the future. Well, I don't know everything. There are some things that I know for fact. One is that I don't let the opinions of others affect me. And I'm surely not losing sleep over it. Again, the beginning of this video was all in parody. The other thing is that all over the world, and especially in Alaska, there are people who are living the same type of lifestyle as me well into their old age. Some up until their dying breath on their homesteads, doing exactly the same things that I'm doing. And I see no reason to believe that I also cannot live this lifestyle and maintain this lifestyle well into my golden years. And hopefully, like I said, up until my last dying breath on my own homestead, living the way that I want. And I always think about this two things. One, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but the first thing I think about is this old saying, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Well, this lifestyle is my love. This is what I've dreamt about for decades, and I'm so happy that I get to live it. And I would much rather put in all the effort that it takes to maintain my lifestyle than to never have done it. I don't want to look back on my life down the road and think, I wish I had done that. I really wish I'd done it. I had so many opportunities that I could have, and yet I didn't. So I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that I'm actually getting to do these things. The other thing that comes to mind is, at one point when I was younger, I was going through an old photo album with my grandmother and came across this picture of this woman who was standing in full motorcycle gear from head to toe in front of a Harley Davidson. And I asked her who that lady was, and she said it was her. She said that was the lifestyle she wished she had led, which really took me back because I had no idea that that was what she was into or what she wanted to do with her life. She was a very prim and proper woman who had climbed the corporate ladder and was very successful in life. And I was astounded by her saying that that was her and that's what she wanted, but she never got to live that life. It was shortly after this that she got cancer, and while she was hospitalized, I sat there and watched her and realized that she may never get to live this lifestyle that she wanted. She might not recover, and that her dream was going to die with her. And it was in those moments that I realized that's not the life I want to live. I don't want to let my life pass me by. I wanted to make sure that whatever I wanted in my life, I was going to be able to fulfill. I was going to be able to live out my dreams. And so I planned for a long time in order to come to Alaska and live the way that I do now. And I absolutely love it. I can't even imagine going back. Someone had asked the question about, is this what my family would want for me? And yes, it is. Are you worried about me being here?
No.
Are you proud of my decision to move here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you shocked when I told you I was moving to Alaska?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
No. Were you shocked at how far away my cabin is from society?
No.
What do you think about me moving to Alaska?
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you finally got to do what you've always wanted to do. Because I remember when I was in high school and you would just watch videos on Alaska all day long. And I knew that you would eventually move up here. That
Yeah.
you would find your way up here somehow. And I didn't think it would be as soon as you did. But I'm glad that you got out of Denver.
Yeah. My family wants me to be happy, and my family wants me to be able to fulfill my dreams. As long as I'm not hurting anybody or myself, why would they not want this for me? They know that I'm not lonely because I'm an introvert. While I might not seem that way because I have a YouTube channel, it's easy to talk to the camera. It's not so easy necessarily to talk with people face to face. So they understand that I like my independence. I like my freedoms. I like my privacy. And I like my life. And so they wouldn't want anything different for me. And I wouldn't want anything different for anybody else that was living their life to the way they want to live it. As long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting yourself, more power to you. That's what I always told my kids. You know, and it's something I firmly believe. I also think that the lifestyle that I live, while there might be a lot of work involved in maintaining my daily lifestyle, that work is keeping me young. I feel younger and more spry and active and fit, both mentally and physically, than I ever did when I was back in the lower 48s, working a corporate job, tied to a cubicle, you know, making that daily commute through rush hour traffic, and just struggling to make ends meet just so I could keep the lights on and food on the table for my kids. Now that my kids are older and I don't have to worry about them because they're all successful and independent in their own right, and all I have to worry about is myself, and I don't have the same responsibilities and the same bills that I had back in the lower 48, I can't imagine ever going back to that. Does this lifestyle require a lot of work? Absolutely. But it's keeping me young. It's keeping me fit, both physically and mentally. I'm happier and healthier now than I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm not saying that I was ever unhealthy, but there were times where I was packing on the pounds because I wasn't being physically active because I had a desk job that I put in long hour days, you know, anywhere between 12 to 16 hours a day, sitting at a desk, not doing anything. Coming home and, you know, barely spending time with my kids, and then going upstairs and falling asleep, and then getting up and doing the whole thing right over again. This is enjoyable. This is absolutely enjoyable. There's nothing about my life that I don't like. I get asked that all the time. Is there something I miss from the 48? Yeah, my family. Will they ever come to visit? Possibly. Do I get lonely? No. But do I miss the lifestyle of the lower 48? The hustle, the bustle, the daily grind of going to work every day and putting in those long hours, being stagnant? No, I do not. Is there anything about my lifestyle now that I don't like? No. No, I love my life. And everything I'm doing now, believe it or not, is in order to make it easier for me when I get older. Because that's the question I get a lot too, especially lately, is, okay, your life is great, but what will you do when you get older? I don't know. But I do know that I'm putting in systems to allow me to be able to maintain my way of life even as I get older. You know, right now I'm hauling in jugs of water. But my plans are to eventually get rain catchment systems, to get some cisterns put on the property so that I can have water right there at the property. Will I ever be able to get a well? No, because wells aren't very common in the area where I live because the groundwater is so deep, and also the groundwater is not palatable. It's full of copper and sulfur, and getting enough pressure to maintain the well is not something that's easy to do. And can I put in a sandpoint well? No, because again, the water is so far down, and also the ground here is very rocky, very, very rocky, full of granite and other igneous rocks. There's no way that I could ever put in a sandpoint well. But getting a cistern is something that I could do. Getting gutters put on a future pole barn that I plan on building to house my vehicle is something that I can do. Eventually, I plan on buying a tractor. I don't know if I'll buy new or if I'll buy used. If I buy new, I'll probably finance it, because as long as it's financed, then the maintenance is covered. If I pay it off, then I got to pay for the maintenance on it. So, you know, these are things that are on the wish list. They just take time. I'm very strategic with my finances. I'm very frugal with my spending. And I do that because there's no guarantee that even YouTube is going to be around in the future. You know, who knows how long I'll be able to maintain a YouTube channel. Does this help me live my life? Yes, this helps me to be able to afford the things that I need and want. But again, I'm very strategic with how I spend my money. So everything I do, though, is, again, for the future, to make sure that I can continue to live this lifestyle in the future. So not only will I be getting a rain catchment system and cisterns on the property, gutters, a pole barn, a tractor with a plow on it so I can plow my own property and not have to rely on somebody else to come out and do that for me. You know, who knows? You know, I live in a 2-story cabin as it is, and people always say, you know, what happens when you can't go up and down those stairs anymore? Well, I hope that day doesn't come. But if it does, who knows? Maybe I'll turn that new bathroom into a bedroom. It sure is nice, and it is on the main level. And speaking of the new bathroom, people ask, well, how will you get water into that tub, and how will you drain that tub? I've shown it before that I bucket the water in from the water that I heat up on top of the wood stove. Now I have water with a heat element in it in a big pot that sits right next to the tub, so I can just bucket it in from there. And then the tub actually has a drain system on it, and while I don't have it draining through the floor and out of the cabin, I can actually drain it directly out to the garden from where it sits. So I don't need to put in plumbing. I don't need to have all these things that people have come to rely upon. No offense to anybody who has these modern conveniences and relies upon them. But I know when I was living that lifestyle, I had no motivation to get up and do anything because I didn't have to, right? I could just throw a dish in a dishwasher, and when it was full, throw a pot in there and close the door and turn it on, and it would run for me. You know, the laundry was just throw it in the machine, throw it in the next machine, take it out, fold it, put it away. None of these things required very much effort on my part to maintain my lifestyle, but it also didn't mean that I had the free time to go and do the things I wanted to do either, which I thoroughly enjoy getting to get out and experience nature. That's why every weekend I was out and about and never at home. Now I live in nature, and I wouldn't go back to the old way of life for anything in the world.
The future can never be told in full. For some things just are better left alone.